Jake has finally revealed his final regular season predictions for the 2021 NFL season. And with that, we have figured out the seeding for his entire 2021 playoff picture. And I couldn't be more excited to help him present it today for you, our loyal fans, and for me, because I am one of those fans that's excited to hear what he's about to tell me, who's about to upset who's about to advance when we expect them to advance, and just how all of the 2021 playoffs will shake out in the NFL. So without further ado, Jake, please get us underway and start us wherever you want, really.
All right. Well, let's just start AFC wildcard weekend. Just a little rundown for the seeding again. The Chiefs are the 1 seed. The Ravens are the 2. Titans 3. Bills 4. Browns 5. Chargers 6. Patriots 7. So first one we're going to talk about is the 2-7 game. That would be Baltimore and New England. New England visits Baltimore. New England beat Baltimore last year with Cam Newton and Jacoby Brissett. This year, New England's going to have Mac Jones, better quarterback play, made it this far. Belichick doesn't like losing in the playoffs. He remembers the last time he lost in wild card weekend. Doesn't like all this fancy quarterback running stuff that he's seeing with Lamar Jackson. I think we're going to have the first ever 7-seed upset here. And Bill Belichick's going to be able to put that on his coaching resume with the Patriots upsetting the Baltimore Ravens.
Wow. I've got to say, I didn't expect you to go just straight into it with that. So that's surprising. I've got to say, this is a matchup that didn't come up in my playoffs. So this would be a matchup I would be super excited for. I just remember all those times when we were younger where we'd watch Baltimore go into New England, and it felt like ugh, really this again. I don't want to see New England beat Baltimore. I'm actually rooting for Baltimore so often because as Bills fans, we just didn't want to see New England get back when we were younger. We kind of got used to it over time, but when we were younger, it really bothered us. I think we're both on the same page with that. So it's fun to see this matchup take place again in so much of a different style. New England going to Baltimore, the team's kind of changing from the molds that they were back in those times. I mean, Patriots finally having a new quarterback, the Ravens running with their quarterback, and then 2 power run games. Could you imagine like this in the snow? Really seeing both these offenses have to use their ground games to really just at least take control of this game. This is a really interesting matchup to me, and I think if I were picking it, I would still pick Baltimore at home. I think I'd really favor Baltimore. So this one's kind of tough for me to buy in on New England, and that's with me actually predicting that New England will have a better record than you did. So, wow, that's a really interesting starting point.
Yeah, just looking at it, I mean, since Lamar has taken the helm for the Ravens, I don't think Bill Belichick has lost to him. And I don't think if there's any point for that to start, it would not start in the playoffs. Bill Belichick does not seem like the guy that like, yeah, if we're going to lose to him now, it's going to be when it matters most. I don't think he'd let that happen.
The last year Tom Brady was in New England, they played the Ravens on Sunday Night Football, and the Ravens actually beat them pretty well. They had a decent amount of turnovers.
Oh, yeah,
Marlon
right.
Humphrey had
Right.
a scoop and score, I think. If not, it was Marcus
Well,
Peters.
eliminate those You're going to have Mac Jones. He's playing a lot safer than that Brady guy.
Yeah.
And they beat the main thing that I'm harping on was they beat them last year, and that team last year was garbage.
Yeah.
And they beat the Ravens.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm excited to see what Bill can do, and I think he can definitely pull this one out.
Yeah, I would never say that taking Bill Belichick in any sort of like saying the coaching can win them this game. I don't think anyone can ever say you're wrong about that just because of all the things we've seen Belichick do in the past.
Yeah. Second wild card game. The 6-seed Chargers visit the 3-seed Tennessee Titans. This is going to be the game that kills the Chargers. And I said this in your playoff predictions too when you had the Chargers making it. Chargers, they're going to impress me. I'm going to love them. I love Brandon Staley, but their weakness is the run game. And when they get matched up with Derrick Henry, your road has come to an end. It's nothing to hang your head in shame, boys. Like, you made it. You made it. You made it to the playoffs. People really didn't think that Justin Herbert was going to be he was going to be a project. You did it in year 2 with him, new head coach. You did it. But Derrick Henry's going to run all over you now because this like too high safety look that Braden State it is not conducive to stopping Derrick Henry. I mean, if they can, I'll love them even more. But I just don't think that that's a game that the Chargers can pull out.
I think that's a reasonable expectation for where these Chargers are going to finish this year. And I guess now that we've talked about it even more, we're probably kind of meeting in the middle of where we both were about the Chargers earlier in the year.
Yeah, yeah. I don't have them. I'm not saying Super Bowl. You're not saying not making the playoffs. We're both like, yeah, they're making it. It's just
They're
once
going to
they
be
make
done
it.
quick.
And my last wild card weekend game for the AFC, similar game that you had in your playoffs, but different time. That'd be the Cleveland Browns visiting the Buffalo Bills, not the Bills going there. And that one difference of location, I think is what changes it. And I said that in yours because that game is at the Dog Pound. I think between the Bills and the Browns, weather isn't going to matter. Both those teams are on Lake Erie. They're going to be used to it. It's just going to be whose ever home stadium you're playing in. Josh Allen, I think, is going to sling it in the snow a little bit better than Baker Mayfield. I think the Browns are going to run it in the snow better than the Bills. The Browns' defense is going to be better than the Bills, but if Josh Allen is just lighting them up, I don't see much stopping him, especially at home with Bills Mafia there. So I think the Bills pull that one out. That's going to be a great game.
Yeah. As you said, I had both these teams in the AFC Championship game, so obviously I think they're both going to be really good teams. If you're willing to put a team in a conference championship game, you're willing to say that they could beat anybody on any Sunday. So with that being said, the fact that you're taking the home team in this is completely fine with me.
Now let's switch over to the NFC for their wild card games. 2 and 7 seed game. I got the Chicago Bears visiting the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And just like you, I have the Bears winning. I am lying. I am completely lying with that.
Yeah,
I do
know.
not have the Bears winning this game. I love Justin Fields, and this is the same situation as the Chargers. Love this team. Love them a lot. You made it as far as you're going to go, guys. Just pack it in. It was a great season. Yeah, that Buccaneers team, I don't think Brady's going to have them looking past anyone throughout the entire playoffs, especially after what happened last year with Taylor Heineke almost beating him. He's like, hey, guys, remember what an undrafted guy almost did to us? Yeah, let's not have a first-round pick do that same thing and maybe even beat us, all right? I'm trying to win another ring. So I think Justin Fields is sent home in his first playoffs, but nothing to hang his head in shame.
Okay, that's fine. I'm not gonna argue with you. Although they had to get to the second round for me, and one of the other keys with that was the fact that they had the week off. The week off also hurt them. And if they are playing wild card weekend, I don't feel like I'm not kidding here. I do feel like that could actually be enough to kind of motivate them a little bit more, because they could still be like, oh, we aren't the 1 seed. We aren't like the hottest thing in the world. I'm serious. That could actually change it.
Yeah. The 3-6 matchup, I got the Cowboys visiting the football team.
Oh, boy. Back at
So,
it.
2 teams that split it during the regular season. Great offense, great defense. I'm going to have to go back on what I say, because what I say is offense wins you regular season games, defense wins you championships. I don't think the football team's defense is going to be able to stop the high-powered Cowboys offense. I think CeeDee Lamb transitioning into that number 1 receiver, Amari Cooper, Michael Gallup, Blake Jarwin, Zeke, Dak, if he's healthy, when he's healthy, because I'm predicting him to be. I think the Cowboys go to FedEx Field, and they win this one, and they advance to the next round.
I don't hate this. What I hate about it is that you looked at me when I had Minnesota beating this team in Washington and said, "You're an idiot. You're an
Yeah,
idiot."
because it's Minnesota. Yeah, because it's Minnesota.
If you're saying Dallas is competent enough to beat Washington in Washington, then Minnesota is as well. So, like I said,
Minnesota's
I
not
can't.
even competent enough to win 6 games.
According to you, how much do you
And
want to
this is
bet?
100% right.
How much do you want to bet that Minnesota will win at least 6 games this year? Seriously, how much do you want to bet? Are you setting
bet
the
$1.
the over
I'll bet
under at
$1.
5.5? Okay, fine.
I'll bet $1.
Okay, I'm betting you $1. Okay, that Minnesota will win at least 6 games this year. Okay, if they win less, I'll give you $1. But but really, no, I don't hate it. Like I said, because I can see a world where this happens. This world is where Ryan Fitzpatrick maintains the starting quarterback job the whole year and then doesn't do enough on offense in the playoffs to actually help his team win. And yeah, I can see the Cowboys scoring more points than them.
It's funny to say this about a 37-year-old quarterback, but he lacks playoff experience.
Yes, no, you're right. But it really is. I definitely can see that happening. I definitely could see that the Cowboys could come into that game and just be able to outscore them. And if Washington turns the ball over a few too many times, or even just has like 1 or 2 mistakes, that could really put them out of the game, just because Dallas's offense is so explosive. But yeah, no, that's just hurt. That's just screwing with me right now because you acted like my Minnesota game was so impossible. If Dallas can go to Washington and win, I don't feel like Washington's home environment is anything too crazy. So I mean, that's the other thing.
Irv Smith is no Blake Jarwin. That's all I gotta say about it.
Okay, fine, fair enough. All right.
And then the last wild card game for the NFC, I got the Rams visiting the Packers. The Rams visited the Packers last year. Problem is, Rams did not have Matthew Stafford last year. They had Jared Goff. And I think if you toss Matthew Stafford on the Rams, I don't think they lose to the Packers, especially with how much better I think they're going to be and how much worse I think the Packers are going to be. It's just a matter of the Rams playing in a far stronger division. The Packers not. The Packers get that home field game. You know, Lambeau's home field advantage is nothing to joke about, but I still think Stafford pulls this out. He's played at Lambeau too many times for it to shake him. Now, like, I don't think that's really... Like, they have the perfect quarterback to go into Lambeau and beat Aaron Rodgers in a playoff game. Like, it's like, we need to have, like, some guy that's not going to... Like, Stafford played in a dome, but he still had to play in Lambeau late in the season. So, perfect quarterback. I think the Rams pull that one out.
Yeah, I think the Rams are a better team, and I think that Aaron Rodgers is obviously a former MVP, and the Packers have home field advantage. I think that evens it out fairly closely. This game literally feels like it's a coin toss to me. If this is actually the matchup we got Rams going to Packers. Man, I probably you ask me the 6 days leading up to the game, who's going to win this game? I probably say the Rams 3 times and the Packers 3 times. So I don't know. This is a matchup that I would be excited to watch, but really I'm not going to knock you either way for either of the teams you would go with here.
Let's go back to the AFC because we're in the divisional round now. We got the 1 seed Chiefs taking on the 7 seed Patriots. I'm gonna have to do it again.
No.
Last time, Bill Belichick lost last year against the Chiefs. I mean, but he also had Brian Hoyer as the starting quarterback. He's gone into Kansas City and won before. Get his team in the Super Bowl. I don't think he loses, man. I don't think he loses here. Maybe I'm weighing too much on like Mac Jones to play well without playoff experience, but I think the Patriots win this one.
I don't. This is such an interesting concept to me. I'm higher on the Patriots than I think you are, but also like with how your seating's falling, I'm not actually hating what you're saying. I actually think it's tougher for the Patriots to beat the Ravens than it is for the Patriots to beat the Chiefs. Like, if I'm talking about teams that I think I'm scared to beat the Chiefs, like I actually do like this. If you just had to, if you told me like the like not talking about seeding or whatever, and I'm New England before the season without knowing how anything's gonna go during the season. You told me pick a game that you want the Patriots to play in if they have to win it, and it's New England at Baltimore or New England at Kansas City. I'm actually probably going to go with New England at Kansas City just because of how I've seen them play against each other before. I feel like John Harbaugh actually probably has like the all sorts of schemes kind of molded together better against Belichick than Andy Reid does because he's mostly working on the offensive side of the ball, and I think that usually shows in the games they play. So I don't hate seeing New England beat Kansas City. It's just funny with how this is going, how you're actually kind of taking a team that I think I'm even higher on than you, and you're kind of pulling them because, especially because all of those draft picks that they had this year were all guys I was hyping up. So it's like it's even funnier to me because of that. But yeah, I could absolutely see it happening.
And the second game in the AFC for the divisional round, 4-seed Bills head to Tennessee, take on 3-seed Titans. And I'm going to say the same exact thing that you said for this same exact matchup. And it is the Bills lost egregiously to the Titans last season. We both think they're going to lose to the Titans again this season. But I think when it comes to playoff time, they finally get it into high gear and they win this game against the Titans. And all those games will be at Tennessee. So it's not like the Bills are losing to the Titans at home. Every single one of, or these two, well, this one loss before and this other loss now that we think is going to happen will be at Tennessee. So they'll know what it's like to be there. Especially now. I think if there's any season that will mimic a playoff environment every single week, if you're playing against a contending team, it'll be this season when fans are finally allowed in stands. So I think the Bills win this one too.
Yeah.
It's going to be a tough one for the Titans because that defense is thin. I mean, that's their one chance because if the Bills can slow down Derrick Henry enough, the defense has to hope that Josh Allen is not playing at like 85% of what he can be because
Yeah.
it's that secondary is thin.
It's the Josh Allen plate. It's like, here you go, buddy. Eat it all yourself.
Yeah, just pick it apart.
I feel like you can catch the Titans on an off week though, and like you said, I feel like the Bills are going to be on the top of their game once the playoffs come around, and that's really what I'm banking on too. So,
Yeah.
we agree on this one. I think this is our, even though our rankings, our seedings are all over the place in terms of how we match up with that. We have the same divisional round game and we have the same outcome. So this will be really interesting to see if we get that early season Bills Titans game, if the Bills drop it to it then, and then we also see this matchup in the playoffs. If we get that right during the season, that'll be really interesting, especially since we're both consistent in what we think will happen.
Mm-hmm. Now into the NFC, their divisional round. I've got the 6-seed Cowboys going to the 1-seed 49ers, and congrats, Dallas. You made it this far. But Jimmy G and the Niners here, maybe even Trey Lance, because I think with Trey Lance too, they could still go on a run here. Just an athlete and exactly what Shanahan wants in that offense. You could tell with how he's scheming it up. The rollout, throw across the field, crossers that he had. I'm like, Trey Lance is going to eat that up, that 80-yard touchdown pass that he had. And with how, again, another defense that has a thin secondary, the Niners are going to run it, but Shanahan is great at scheming up pass plays that just pick apart underneath the defense and even setting it up to just take the top off too. And if you're top two corners are Trevon Diggs and Nashawn Wright, like, yeah, dude, you're done. So I think San Fran wins that one.
I just love talking about the Cowboys in any matchup because I'm just thinking about the fact of like the Cowboys are the type of team that I'm literally like, okay, here's the line that's like how I view this team. And it's like they're probably the most like 500 roster ever in terms of like winning and losing half their games, while also having like the biggest boom potential ever. Like I think they're a 500 team, but they absolutely could have a week where they manage to go out and beat the Chiefs by 30. Like their offense is good enough where it could get that screwy. Maybe not 30, but like 20. I mean, 20 points isn't unattainable just because this offensive production could be so literally insane against any team that they come out and play against if they decided to have a game where they literally scored every offensive drive. And that's the interesting thing with the Cowboys, even while saying that they're going to be a 500 team. So I think you're right most of the time to say that they would lose to the 49ers. The 49ers are a better team, but we're not going to be able to count the Cowboys out of any game this year, I don't think, as long as the team stays healthy.
Yeah. And then my second game in the NFC, 5-seed Rams take on the 2-seed Buccaneers, and this will be the testament of how teams should be built. Just go superstars and no depth, or do you go depth and get superstars through the draft and have those guys be part of your depth? I am more of a fan of the way that, Tampa Bay and Cleveland and teams like that build their roster, just depth and not really relying on superstars and trading years and years worth of picks away to attain them. And maybe that played into me giving Tampa Bay the win here. But also visiting Tampa Bay to Stafford. If there's any, besides Fitzpatrick, any real veteran in the playoffs that lacks playoff experience, like Stafford's been there a couple times, but he hasn't made it past the wild card. Like it's gonna be an experience for him, and I think year 2 of the Rams is going to be the real testament, or like the real see what Stafford can do. But getting to the divisional round and losing, that's not bad at all. And Matt Stafford is one of the most liked players in the entire NFL, so everyone's going to be rooting for him in that game. I just think the Buccaneers, with all their depth, are going to be able to win that one.
Yeah, okay. I'm just thinking about at this point who our potential Super Bowl matchups are. I definitely like. I feel like a lot of these matchups in the playoffs, at least 50% of them, comes down and it's just like, man, these teams are like dead even. It's got to be the home team, right? It's got to be the home team when they're like dead even, and I feel like this is pretty much as close as it can get. Maybe you favor Tampa's roster a little bit more. The fact that they're the home team too, you're going to go with Tampa, but yeah. I think this would still be a heck of a game. These are two teams that I'd really like to see match up against each other. I think they played last year, but I didn't get to catch that game if they did. And I'd really like to see that game this season. That would be a really exciting game to watch. And I'd favor Tampa at home, like you said.
Let's go back over the AFC now. Championship weekend. 7-seed New England Patriots head into Orchard Park to play the 4-seed Buffalo Bills. Holy storyline, Batman. The Bills have a chance to finally put Belichick down. The Bills have the chance to finally do it. The one man that's standing in front of them to make it to the Super Bowl for the first time in like 30 years is Bill Belichick.
I already know where this is going. I'm just realizing, once you got to this point, once you finished the divisional round, I already know how this ends. And I do you want me to say it now, or do you want to go through it?
Yeah, sure, say it.
Yeah. That means that you're writing the storyline how you want it to be now from this point, because there's only 3 games left. So I know that there's no way you held back on it, which means that Buffalo beats New England. That means that Tampa goes to San Fran and wins, which I don't think that's impossible, but I would still favor San Fran in that. And then Buffalo's going to beat Tampa in the Super Bowl to get that double.
So Buffalo gets the twofer. They take out Belichick and then Brady to win the ring.
Listen, I feel like you got this far. How are you going to slow down?
There's another storyline in that too. Belichick remains his dominance over the division, beats the Bills, and then goes against Brady and beats him too to show that he's better than him and he has his new toy.
As a Bills fan, I'm going to be really surprised if you did that, but I will actually give you huge credit if you tell me right now that the Patriots are going to beat the Bills in the AFC Championship game.
Well, I mean, Belichick, I mean, I have the Bills being the only team in the entire NFL going 6-0 in their division. I'm not sure if you paid attention to that when I talked about the teams. I think Sean McDermott just he has it now. He figured out how to beat him. And Sean McDermott's a defensive mind, so I think he's watching all of Belichick's defensive tape and figuring out how to break it down and conveying that to Brian Dable. And Brian Dable, apprentice of Belichick, worked under him. He's gonna want to beat him too, and this is gonna be his last hurrah before he probably gets a head coaching job. He wants to win this ring with Josh Allen. I don't think that stops them. I don't think Belichick stops them. Like, you and I both agreed that the Bills will find a way to get back to the conference championship because it's nothing. They're going to sell for nothing less than that, at the very least.
Doesn't matter.
I know it doesn't matter who they're matched up against.
No. Hang on. I don't like the Bills having to travel to Cleveland or Kansas City. If the Bills have to travel to Kansas City or Cleveland prior to the conference championship, I feel like that's where it's going to end. I'd actually say if the Bills make it through the AFC, I like the Bills in the Super Bowl. But it like I said, it's just wherever either of those games could fall. If Cleveland gets stuck at the 5 seed, like you're saying, Baltimore wins the division, that really excites me because then it's really only Buffalo going to Kansas City that I'm worried about. And there's the potential that somebody else could knock out Kansas City first. But if Buffalo has to go to Cleveland or Kansas City in the wild card round or the divisional round, I could see them getting knocked out just as early then too. It's just with how I think the standings are going to line up. I think that it's going to be that if they had to go to either of those places, it wouldn't be until the AFC Championship game that would occur. So yes, I guess I would say that I agree with you about 90% of the time. If those games somehow became divisional round games or wild card round games, though, I could see them losing there too.
Alrighty. Well, let's go to the conference game in the NFC, huh? We got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers visiting the San Francisco 49ers. The 1 and 2 seeds matching up, I know. So lame. But it's how it's going to shake out. I mean, I'm giving you 100% accuracy. Not everything's going to be fun here. Some storylines great, some storylines not. And this storyline that you built up in your head, I don't know where you got that from. Because they're visiting San Fran. And, I mean, Kyle Shanahan wants that Super Bowl ring. He wants it bad, man. And he's got his new toy in Trey Lance. Jimmy Garoppolo. This works out either way with whoever the starting quarterback is. Kyle Shanahan has his new toy that he can scheme and has this offense that he wants to build around him. And I think Trey Lance is going to be able to run it well because the offense is built to help you. The offense holds whoever the quarterback's hand is, it holds their hand the whole time. It schemes guys open. Jimmy Garoppolo, he's going to want to beat Tom Brady because Tom Brady kicked him out of New England. So that storyline works well too. And also he wants that chance to redeem himself in Super Bowl, in the Super Bowl. So I think San Fran wins this game.
Okay. Who's the starting QB though?
I'll say Jimmy Garoppolo is for San Fran. Oh wait, Blaine Gabbert for Tampa Bay. Sorry, I got confused what team you were gonna ask me.
Yeah, I was asking about Tampa. No, really, Garoppolo. Okay, I don't know if I'm leaning that way anymore. Honestly, I don't know.
In my head this whole time, because I'm saying hypothetically if Trey Lance is there, the whole time I made this, I was thinking Garoppolo in my head as the starting QB.
Okay.
So that leads us to the Super Bowl. 1 seed San Fran 49ers against the 4 seed Buffalo Bills. Now call me Chris Berman, because I know Chris Berman back in the 90s predicted the San Francisco Buffalo every year in the 90s. Every year. It's going to be San Francisco Buffalo. It's going to be San Francisco. Well, he's finally right. He's finally right. It's San Francisco Buffalo. And this is what it's going to come down to. Defenses wins championships. and Nick Bosa is gonna have the game-winning strip sack on Josh Allen
Uh,
to win the 49ers the Super Bowl. Jimmy Garoppolo, sweet redemption. So, and then you have Shanahan and the 49ers brass thinking, did we mess up here? Drafting Trey Lance the wrong move? Jimmy Garoppolo's a Super Bowl champ. He's got another ring, won it on his own. Uh, it's going to be a lot of questions heading into the 2022 season with this.
I don't, I don't, I don't know about that. I don't. That
What a
one's
homer.
hard for me.
What a homer. You just want the Bills to win.
No, because I told you, I think the Bills are going to get eliminated way earlier than you do. Um, but no, not way earlier. One round earlier. But like I said, if they run into Kansas City or Cleveland, which I feel like there's about a 75% chance they do, that's going to knock them out. But I feel like if they get to the Super Bowl, they're going to have a hard time. I feel like they're going to be really set up well. I don't know. I feel like for whatever reason, I really like the Bills in a matchup against the Niners, whether that's Trey Lance or Jimmy Garoppolo. I feel like getting to that game, the Bills could really win it, and not in a homer sense. I just feel like for whatever reason they would match up well. I feel like the Bills' offense, we're going to be in LA this year, which means that the weather is not going to be an obstacle. We're going to be indoors. I feel like the Niners would actually probably be in a better situation if this game was in Buffalo, really. Having this game indoors, the Bills are just going to be able to throw the ball all over the field, even though the Niners have solid guys on the D-line and Fred Warner and other guys in pass coverage. I just feel like the Bills would be able to throw all over the Niners, and the Niners wouldn't be able to keep up no matter which QB's in. Jimmy Garoppolo's in. I don't feel like he's a threat enough down the field to really keep up with them. And if Trey Lance is in, I feel like the lack of experience would hurt him. I'd take the Bills in this matchup pretty quickly. But actually, your NFC Championship, your championship game storylines are really cool because you either have, well, actually, let's just say the championship games go how you said they would. And the Bills are playing the Patriots. Obviously, that's like the dethroning game, right, of New England. It's like finally confirming that. And then on the opposite side, you have San Fran versus Tampa Bay. Okay, I think that if San Fran's playing Tampa Bay and Jimmy Garoppolo is the starter, then it's really interesting because that Tom Brady Jimmy Garoppolo dilemma playing itself out. That's obviously really interesting. And then I'd be willing to take either of the teams in that game. If San Fran's the home team in that, and Trey Lance is playing, man, I actually really would say that I'm kind of leaning San Fran in that. And if that's the case, San Fran wins the game and Trey Lance is the starter, then you have the Super Bowl of Josh Allen versus Trey Lance, which is like kind of just confirming everything of like it being, okay, stop worrying about like mechanical issues and that type of thing. Let's just get down to business and say, dude, if you've got an insane athlete, a huge insane athlete at the quarterback position, you better go draft him because now we've got two of them in the Super Bowl. So basically, I guess what I'm getting back around to is that no matter how you go, if that's actually the championship games we'd end up with, I feel like the storylines would be awesome to go for those last 3 weeks of the season because Pro Bowl in between, obviously.
Yeah.
Those would be an awesome last 3 weeks of the season and a great conclusion to the season. But if you're picking San Fran over Tampa Bay, which actually I have to say I would pick San Fran over Tampa Bay as well in that situation, then I'm going to disagree with you and I'm going to say that the Bills would actually probably beat the Niners. Okay. And even sort of like not to the same level as Cleveland, Minnesota, like I had where I said Cleveland slaughters Minnesota. But I could see Buffalo beating San Fran in the Super Bowl by like 10, like at least a 2-score game by the end of it.
All right. I mean, just looking back at it, closest thing, like, in my mind, I still think Jimmy G's the quarterback in this Super Bowl. Kansas City, San Fran a couple years ago. He's one completion away from winning that game. And the guy that he could have had that completion to is going to be on the Bills now. I think Jimmy G doesn't let that opportunity slip away from him again, because he's been kicking himself in the rear for the past couple years. Just if I would have just taken a little bit off of it, if I would just taken a little bit off of it.
So is Jimmy G having the Aaron Rodgers campaign this year?
What did you say?
Is
Sorry.
Jimmy G having the Aaron Rodgers campaign this year?
Yes, Jimmy G is having an Aaron Rodgers campaign this season. That is what my narrative is.
Good. I like it. You had a lot of interesting stuff in there. As I said, I told you, I'm never gonna be scared to tell you where I think things are where my opinion is different from yours. But yeah, I see most of it. I don't think anything you said is absolutely crazy, like the Jets going 16-1 or something. So,
I had that for a while, and then I decided that it just wasn't too realistic.
Jets, yeah. Bills fans predict the Jets to go 16-1. There you go. That's the.
Can that just be the
title?
title for this or for the video?
No, sorry, not gonna. All right, you all set?
Yeah, I think we could cut this here.